very very obscurely written and so academically highfalutin that sometimes it doesn't make sense. Okay, I would say that too. You might find it fine. I don't find it that way. I find it really difficult to read. All right, so what I might, if I were you, I would perhaps read about what people say about Judith Butler. Okay, and there's plenty written about gender as performance. Okay. Great. Some very interesting stuff going on here, isn't there? Okay, let's start with that. Can I run you through a couple of housekeeping things first as well? So that's great. We've got what everybody's doing, what everybody's interested in. We've got some elements of reading started already. Do you know my page on Moodle with my little face there? That's me now. If you go in, have you managed to have a look through my page?
I had a brief look yesterday.
All right, yeah, great. I need you to start having a go and having a look to see the stuff I'm posting up, okay? I've got some various things. I've got the dissertation proposal form, which is the thing I need you to fill in for the submission, okay? And we all know when the submission date is. You all know that information. It's all on Moodle if you don't know. What I need you to do is make a note of the submission date and start working backwards in terms of your time management, of how much time you've got to do things in, please. Okay? I don't want anybody to come to me saying, oh, what I had subject work getting in the way and da-da-da. Yeah, that's not going to fly. Okay, so we all know the submission date, we all know what we need to do submit, we all know what we're submitting. It's that form. Okay? I've got things like the tutorial schedule when you're coming to me, what you need to think about. I've got a couple of things here. I've got this one on reading and referencing. It occurred to me about a year ago when I was speaking to students that lots of students aren't entirely sure how to go about academic reading, and that sometimes students take books out of the library and try and read them as if they're reading novels. What we need to do is go to the back of books, look at indices in the index, and look up the word you want to find. Say heteronormativity.
Yeah.
You find heteronormativity in the index. You look at the page numbers where it occurs in the book. You flick to the page numbers. You read up the paragraphs on heteronormativity. You make notes. You go to another page on heteronormativity. You read all that there is in the book. You get another book out. You look up heteronormativity. You can read 5 or 6 books a day like that. Okay? If you try and open a book and start reading it from the beginning, it's going to be a massive problem, and that's not how we read academic texts, okay? So that works for books. You also, quite a lot, particularly you three, because you're doing current stuff, there'll be a lot of research papers on these ideas, okay? You need to engage with current research in the area.
Will we find them on MetSearch?
Yeah. But also you need to look beyond MetSearch. So what I need you all to do and make a note of, your action points from today are these things, okay? Go to the library, make an appointment with an academic librarian. The academic librarians are there for you, but if you book an appointment, you'll have a specific time to sit down with them and tell them what you want to research into, and they will help you with your searches, and they will also help you look beyond MetSearch. Okay, because what we've got the capability of doing, they haven't got everything, but what they can do is help you get interlibrary loans. So you will also sign up for interlibrary loans, so you can get stuff sent to you. It's quite likely that some things you will, particularly you, will want to find we haven't got on MetSearch, so you need everything sent to you through interlibrary loan. Okay, it's a brilliant system. It's free. Sometimes the stuff comes to your inbox, or you go and collect a book from the library. Brilliant. They're so good that I needed a chapter from a book that they couldn't get hold of for me. So they got somebody from Manchester University Library to photocopy the chapter for me and send it to me. Brilliant. Great. Yeah? They will do that for you as well. So all the journal type article that you can't get hold of, we can get hold of through interlibrary loan. Go and sit with an academic librarian and start to get them helping you really get to grips with MetSearch, so you know what you're doing a bit more. I'm sure everybody's fine on MetSearch, but it is a bit obscure sometimes, okay? And you also need to look beyond MetSearch. I need you to do that. I also, if you don't already, go to the study skills on a Wednesday, run by LTDU. The information about it is on Moodle on the first page with essential things. Think about it in terms of a triangle. I'm here for you, helping you with your dissertation. You've got the library as your resource, where to find stuff. And you've got LTDU, which will help you with your study skills. They will help you think about constructing arguments. They will help you with how to read academically, yeah, and write and things like that. How do you all feel about your writing?
Not good.
Right. So this is the reason, as far as I can tell, that nobody feels good about it, is that you're all here because you have creative proficiency. Yeah, you've come because you're already good at graphics, you're already good at illustration, okay? And that's why we've accepted you. You don't do a lot of writing, yeah? And that's just because you don't do a lot of writing. So maybe you don't feel brilliant and proficient at it in the way you do with your practical work. That's okay. We'll help you do that. Okay, the more writing you do, the better you'll be. The more academic reading you do, of things like journal articles, the more you get to grips with Judith Butler, who is extremely obtuse, I think. You might find her straightforward, that's totally fine, but Butler, I've got to read her 20 times until I get the point, and then I don't always get the point. Okay, but this is what you need to be doing. Just because you may not be able to read or write quickly, that is not a problem. We're not testing how quickly you can do things. We're testing how well you're doing things. Don't worry, do it. Okay? I've got a little bit of a reputation, Suzanne, as being a bit of a hard ass.
Okay.
And a bit of a telling things the way they are, a little bit. I am here for you, and I will help you as much as I can, but I need you to do things like have a go. All right, have a go with reading, have a go with writing, do as much as you can. The more academic reading you do, the better your writing will be. Students absolutely don't believe me when I say this. If you don't read, or you're reading blogs or newspaper articles, that's not helping you improve your academic writing. You unconsciously take on board the way other people write. Okay? I need you to read and really get your hands dirty with all the stuff on different cultures. I think all the stuff on gender, sexuality as a social construction, all the stuff on heteronormativity, gay, straight, all that lovely writing, okay? And there's loads of it. You guys are doing something that people are writing about a lot, which is nice. But what we also need to work on is developing our own individual arguments as well, which I'm here to help you do, okay? Do you feel you have a specific question at the moment?
I'm still I think I'm too broad. I still need to narrow it down.
Great.
But that's why I'm looking into as many areas as possible.
Yeah, lovely.
No specific questions right now.
Lovely.
But I haven't really done a lot of research at the moment, so.
Great. You need to start today, then. Friday's your dissertation. Friday's your Constellation dissertation day. Switch off your social media, because it's really hard for you to concentrate. I know. I am a bitch, right? I'm just saying these things to you. Just saying to my last group, it's really hard for you to concentrate. And reading and writing are really difficult and need a lot of concentration. Do what you do. You each have an individual way of working. So whichever way is best for you is the way you do it. But if you can switch off social media for a day, it'll be more helpful for you. Obviously,
Yeah, I've had to delete some of my apps because I went to the library, I think it was Wednesday night, and I spent the majority of my library session just replying to people on my phone. So, yeah,
I
I've
know,
had to
and that's your
some.
precious time. Your time is really precious to you.
And when I came back from India, I went to see my family because I was feeling a bit rough from all the travelling, and I left my phone at home. So I didn't have a phone for a week, and I actually felt that life was better without a mobile phone, because when I'd wake up in the morning, I'd actually do things instead of flicking through my phone.
Yeah, when we first
on.
moved into our house at the moment in July, we had 2 weeks without internet, because I hadn't sorted out the internet. So we were all freaking out at first, but it actually became really refreshing. The fact that we had to go to the library if we wanted to into town if we wanted to use the internet, and it was actually really nice.
Yeah.
I'm not a Luddite, and I'm not a horrible stick in the mud or anything, but I think it's really hard for you. I don't know how you can concentrate with Snapchatting, and it's really difficult. And I don't think you're going to get the best out of yourselves if you do more of that and less of this. Because this is hard. This is difficult.
I'm tempted to get like a Nokia phone for when I'm in uni.
Yeah, they're reproducing like the really old Nokia, the little brick ones. They're starting to put them into production again.
It's probably because like people know that if they take their phone with them everywhere, they're just gonna lose time.
And you're perpetuating very little, but you're spending a lot of time doing it. What did you say? You spent 2 hours replying? About what? You can't remember, but you'd have remembered if you'd read Judith that day.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So, I appreciate that everybody has distractions, but I genuinely think social media is really hard for you. It makes what you're doing here really difficult. In terms of reading and writing's hard enough. Just be really, I'm just putting it out there. It's fine. So yeah. So I have things on here that I have put up to help you. Go away and read them if you can, and think about what they're saying. What I've also done for you this week is what you're doing. Part of what you're doing for the main bulk of your writing for this term is going to be a basic lit review. And what a lit review is before you write anything, what you need to find out is who's written what in the area that you're interested in. And whenever we all write something, that's what we do. And what I've put up for you are 2 papers. One of them is about hybrid masculinities, which is quite an interesting paper in itself. But I put it up there as an example. Oh, come on! As an example of what a lit review looks like. Okay. Can I get this up? What is a lit review? Come on, yeah. So what I've done is I've taken one of my papers, a bit of lit review from one of my papers, in which you do not have to be remotely interested, but what I want you to do is look at the structure and the way I've done it, and then think about how you can, when you're making notes about what people, who says what about the area you're interested in, you're collecting the information together. So who says what about East-West culture? Who says what about post-feminism? Who says what about the hijab? Yeah? Who says what about gender as a social construction? Who says what about heteronormativity? Yeah? Who says what about transgender? That's what we're looking for. Who says what about gender in advertising and representation? Yeah? So what I've done is I want you to read it because I've put it together in my paper. It's about 4-5 paragraphs of writing about saying what other people say about this particular thing I had about geeks. So what I've done is, right, who wrote what about geeks? And here are the people I read to produce this. And then from reading about geeks, then what other issues were raised, what other points were made. So the other points were made were things about masculinity. So who writes what about masculinity? And then I've got those authors here, and I've got that in my bit of lit review. So if you go away and read that, that's the kind of thing you're working towards for your summative assessment this term and for your dissertation. I've also just popped a paper up there for you to have a look and think about the ways that people construct what you're writing. Is you're going to have an introduction, you're going to have a lit review, you're going to have some analytical chapters, and you're going to have a conclusion. The more papers you read, the more they are structured in that way. Okay, and I've just popped one up for you to have a look at. You don't have to be interested in it, but just have a look at the structure, look at the way it's produced. Okay? Yeah? Have you got any specific questions you want to ask?
When you're reading, should you just take notes or should you actually start to write properly?
Take some notes first.
Yeah.
And then think about what the information says, and then go back to your ideas. Keep having a look and keep thinking about. You might end up reading some information that you don't end up using. That's okay, because at least you've rejected it.
Yeah.
So you're making notes as you're going along. You're keeping things. You're keeping references. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Any specific questions?
I like kind of working on loads of projects at once because I find that if I sit down working on one thing all day, I'll start forgetting what I'm doing.
All right.
And I also lose track. So I'm
All
wondering, because like a Friday will give us the dissertation day, but then throughout the week, like how much
Yeah.
reading would you say is too much and how much is like a good basis?
There's no hard and fast rules. You know your timetable. You
Okay.
know what you're expected to do in the days. What I would say is if you do little and often, and I can't reiterate this enough, I really can't reiterate this enough. Little and often is more helpful because if you do a little bit most days, your work will build. Plus, you'll always have the idea in your mind. If you leave it for long periods of time when you're not thinking about your dissertation ideas, and then you try and cram it, it won't be as good as it could be, and you'll be panicky. So try and do a little bit often. I mean, I would say give a day up to do your dissertation, and by that I mean come and see me. You go into the library, you're searching. All that is doing your dissertation preparation. Absolutely. Just because you're not writing doesn't mean to say you're not doing anything. Yeah, but I would absolutely, the way to go is little and often, if you can. You know what other deadlines you've got, you know what other work you're doing. Okay, the more you do it and the more you've got it in your mind, the more you will think it through and the better it will be.
Okay.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And I've got students writing their PDPs. Oh, Ashley told me to do a little bit at a time and I didn't believe her and then I did and it was fine, or I didn't believe her and I didn't do it and I wish I had. You know, okay. It's fine, you've each got your own way of working, that's absolutely fine. But try and do a little bit when you can. Alright. Anything specific you want to ask me?
I'm just wondering if you know of any text that might be useful.
Yeah, I do. Let's have a look. So you've all got your generic stuff. You've got going to the library, you've got signing up for interlibrary loan, and you've got going to study skills if you need to. If anyone has dyslexia support, make sure you get that in as much as possible. Okay? I've had a couple of incidents where students haven't gone for support until level 6. All right? If you are a student who requires support, get the support now. Okay? I've literally got students being tested for dyslexia now as they're trying to write their dissertations. Okay? It doesn't work massively well for them. They've had 2 years worth of not getting support. Okay? So if you are somebody who needs extra support in this way, make sure you're getting it and get it in. Okay?
If you're not sure, how do you...
Then you can go and get tested.
Okay.
Yeah, the testing process is like really tedious.
Yes, it is.
It's like ridiculous.
It is, but you won't get help unless you're found to be dyslexic. So you will not get help otherwise.
No.
Unless the system finds you to be dyslexic, you won't get any extra support. You can't have any other time. You can't have anything.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you think you might be dyslexic now, go to student services and speak to them in the first instance. It is quite a rigorous process, as I understand, and there is a financial implication which they put in place to stop anybody rocking up and saying, oh, I think I might be dyslexic, but you're not really. You just need to do some work. If you think you might be dyslexic, go to student services and speak to them ASAP.
Okay.
Because it is very late in the 3rd year to discover that you're dyslexic and to try and get support then.
I've never had problems when I was younger, but ever since I've been at uni, I just can't.
See
write.
how you get on,
Yeah.
and see how you get on as well. We don't do a lot of writing,
That's the thing. I don't know if it's just
and I
that.
need you to write, and have a look and see how other people write, and then have a think about it.
Yeah.
But if you think, you're absolutely right, Suzanne. It is a tedious process. But if you don't go through the process, then there is no support, and you
Yeah.
can't have extra time or anything. University's like, it's up to you.
Yeah.
University absolutely, it takes it out of our hands and it gives it into the hands of the student
Yeah.
services. Okay. So if you think that might be a thing, go and speak to them. Absolutely. Yeah. Right. Let's go through. So you've each got your action points from today. And don't forget, I will be seeing you individually the next time I see you. Right, James? Let's have it. So what you need is you're exploring heteronormativity. So you want reading on heteronormativity. I can't remember off the top of my head. I was talking about it in my level 4 group last week. Is it Drew Leader? Is it Drew Leader talks about heteronormativity?
They've ruined you in the name.
Have a
Not a
look.
good start, is it?
It's all right. You're looking at.
Just spell it lead.
I'm going to email this to you, James. I'll
Email
email
it
it
to
to you.
me.
Yeah. You're looking at sexual identity. You are examining. So your main issue, it sounds as if it's about heteronormativity and the way in which gay and straight feed into or out of that,
Yeah.
isn't it? You're looking at. Is it advertising you're interested in?
Advertising or branding.
You're exploring advertising. You're exploring representation.
That's it.
Okay, so you
So,
want.
Just the way the media portrays.
Yeah.
it.
You want Stuart Hall. Yeah, you absolutely want Stuart Hall. Stuart Hall also writes about stereotypes.
Okay.
You can think about stereotypes as well, maybe. Yeah? So that's some ideas there. So those are sort of keywords for you to start researching and see where that leads you. Anything else specific?
Not that I can think of at the moment.
Yeah, let me send that to you then. That's your, as well as your action points from there, you've got some things to be getting on with here, right?
Would you say journals are a good shout as well?
Oh,
like in
yeah,
the
because
library?
journals will give you recent information,
Okay.
all right? Books will help you, books will probably help you. Books and journal. Always look at the bibliography. Who's reading what? What are the main names that are coming up? Okay. You know, somebody like Stuart Hall is, from the 80s and 90s. People will be referencing Hall now all the time, okay? You could even start with somebody like David Gauntlet, Gender in the Media. David Gauntlet, and also...
I read him on in first year.
Yeah. Rosgill is the other one. Rosgill, Media and Gender. It's quite gentle. If anybody else is interested in these things too, make a note of them. Yeah, academics, books and journals, but there's a lot of stuff written about homosexuality and representation. You've got people like Thomas Peel's book on queer in the media, queer in popular culture. That's a good book, actually. That would work, wouldn't it? Tom Peel, I think it is. Peel, queering popular culture. You can get that from Interlibrary Loan because I know they haven't got it.
Okay.
Queering, not queening. Queering popular culture. It's a good book. It's got a selection of essays in it. All right.
Okay, awesome.
Plenty to go along with there. That's you, James. Suzanne. Suzanne Richards. Okay. You're looking at social construction of gender, aren't you?
Mhm.
Gender is a social construct. Can I just ask, sorry, while I'm just still, does everybody think you're doing the longer thesis or you think you're making an artifact?
The 10,000 words.
Yeah?
I'm not really sure. I didn't really understand on the
Right,
sheet.
good. So we can go through it. Sure. I don't know what you've ticked. It's in there. What is it you don't understand?
With the artifact,
Yeah.
isn't it that you make something and
Yes,
then
you do,
write
yes.
about it?
Yeah.
Okay. So I don't know if what in the third year of my work is going to turn into that or not. I'm not sure.
I
So
think
do
at this
you-
stage, unless you're thinking of doing a technical report or a business plan, which are very, very specific things,
Yeah.
I think at this stage you can be quite loose about it. Don't worry. We can
Okay.
talk about it again in September.
Okay.
Okay, so it's no problem at the moment. But I think if we say you can think about the paper or artifact or the longer dissertation at the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah. you know, I'm up for having a chat in September about how you feel, how you've got on over the summer and what you think you might do. So that's fine, and everybody has that option. You guys, I think, are you leaning a bit more towards the 8 to 10,000 word?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fine. So you're looking at the idea of gender as a social construct, where it comes from. And one of the things, you know, I was talking about this with my level 4 last week, and one of the things that what the student said is that, you know, gender is just a way of organising society, and it's like a logical way, but that's massively problematic,
Yeah.
isn't it? Actually, it's not that logical for people who don't feel
It's
they
just
fit
another
in
way
one
of
or the
segregating
other.
people, but it's unnecessary.
I wonder if there's a way of. For some reason, I'm thinking of somebody like Nietzsche for you, but I don't know. We'll have to have a think about it, and the way society's organised.
Okay.
I think you need to have some sort of some social stuff about it. It's quite sociological. Yours is, how is society organised? On what basis do we organise society?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then your point is that if there weren't these boundaries, what you could argue, if there weren't gender boundaries, there may be something else. Because if you look at things like race, for example, race is also a social construction and a way of organising society.
Yeah.
So that it may be worth examining things like race to look at examples for gender.
Okay.
Yeah. So you don't have to, but it might be worth thinking about. You need to look at, I want you to look at Kath Woodward's work on identity. Identity there's a great book. And what you're talking about as well is othering and power relations.
Yeah.
Identity and the other, power relations. But fundamentally, you're talking about gender as a way of organising society.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're looking at gender as a social construct. And identity, you're exploring identity fundamentally. If you have a look at Richard Jenkins' Social Identity, you can see the way in which identity is constructed. Okay, I think it's social identity. We have it here in the library. Any other thoughts or questions?
No, I don't think so.
Right, I'll send this to you as an email. You've got, you know, like everybody else, you've got your things I specifically want you to do in terms of study skills and library. Megan. Right. I think you need to think about post-feminism.
Yeah.
Angela McRobbie, of course. Angela McRobbie is the guru on post-feminism. You need Angela. You need to explore the hijab and different forms of headwear, cultural implications. And you also seem to be saying something about East-West and how that's creating something new. There's almost something there like about bricolage, about taking things from different areas and putting them together to make something new. It sounds like a postmodern idea as well, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So that might be a theoretical perspective for you. So it might be worth thinking about postmodern theory and bricolage in terms of East meets West. I was also thinking of, she's a journalist, so I wouldn't normally say read her, but Yasmin Alibi Brown has also written, as far as I know, current things about the hijab. As far as I'm aware. Okay. That's there. What else? Anything else? Everybody feel good about writing, and are you excited about your ideas?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm excited about researching, not writing it.
Yeah.
Okay. You can't write it until you research, so that's the first thing.
I've been doing the reading, enjoying the reading, but I don't know, I put it off because I was scared.
Okay. What you scared of?
Because, I don't know, I always spend so much time writing it, and I never get any like, better at writing it.
Okay. I guarantee you will be better at writing. I've got students whose dissertations here that I'm just currently reading who have the same feelings you did and have produced dissertations. It'll be fine. And I'm here to help you. You know me, and you know me, I'm full on and a bit strict and a bit, get on with it. If that doesn't work for you, I can think of other ways of working, that's fine. But I'm here to help you, but if you don't do the reading, then we're in a difficult position. Okay?
Yeah.
Because we've got nothing to go on. I need, you're going to immerse yourself now in the literature. You're going to get to grips with it. It's going to be difficult. Some stuff you're not going to understand. That's all great. That's all great, and it's good. And the more we do it, the better we'll be. All right?
Okay.
Always, if you have any questions, I don't mind if you email me. That's great. But we've got our tutorials in place. Do come to them. Okay? And it's useful to chat to each other, I think, particularly you guys, because you're doing things that are different, but we are somehow related, which is nice. I don't know, with you, Suzanne, I've got an idea of creating a manifesto for the gender of society.
Okay.
I feel it could also, in my mind, it could be an artifact, but also I think
Right.
it could be incorporated in your writing.
Okay.
But yeah, when I read the three of your thing, I was like, yeah, it's gonna be good. It's gonna be interesting. And you're doing it because you're quite passionate about it, and that passion will help you, in August, and it'll help you in November when the nights are darker and you're feeling a bit crap, and you troll up to me in the heart space going, I don't want to go with this. Yeah. Or you won't feel like that at all. That's perfectly fine. Yeah. I'm here if you need me, but I do need you to do the things I've asked you to do. Okay. Have a look at my little site on Moodle. Come to me if you're not sure what you're doing. When I see you next, it's for an individual tutorial. Come with purpose. Come having done some things. Yeah? Great. I'm really excited. Good one.